What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in. Today with me, I have my good friend. I've actually been in a few bands with him. Patrick Francoeur. Our most recent band we were in was Bound By Betrayal. We were in a band called Kill Your Demons, and we were also in A Dark Tomorrow. What other bands were you in, bro?
Let's see. High school, I was in a band called Necropolis. Then it was, oh crap. What was it? I took like a leave of absence from music for a while. Then I jumped into a band called Fallout, and that turned into A Dark Tomorrow. And then it was Kill Your Demons, and then it was Nothing for a while, and then it was We Are Nothing. That was
You had that band with Chaz.
Oh Jesus, what the heck was that called? Dead to Rise, I think that was called. I totally forgot about that one. There was that one.
I didn't.
I know you did. And then it was Bound by Betrayal. And that was pretty much, I feel that's a pretty good list. Not that long, but it's still pretty okay.
Yeah, and I'm honored to have been in 3 bands with you. Some of the people here that are going to end up watching this already know that you and I had a long standing where like we hated each other. Yeah. And we didn't talk to each other. And that stemmed from when we were living together during the Kill Your Demon days. Yeah. I was an asshole. Not going to sugarcoat it. You were an asshole. And I mean, we reconciled. I'm not going to say the person's name, but I appreciate the fact that said person, who I'm not saying his name, ended up helping us reconcile. I've already done this 2 other times, and we had to go through that twice in the other shows. So just so you know, we're not mentioning said person's name.
Okay. I totally understand.
So what's going on, bro? I mean, like right before COVID ended up shutting everything down, you, Dustin, and I were getting together. We were, doing a little bit of jamming and whatnot, hanging out a little bit. COVID happened. We haven't really seen each other, hung out with each other, jammed at all. Right. So, like, what's going on, dude? Like, you're engaged now. You're getting ready to have a kid. You're what, 37? Get ready to turn 38. How's life, bro? Like, what's going on?
Dude, it's a little surreal at times because I honestly didn't expect to get this far in life. And I tell my fiance all the time, like, I never imagined having a kid. I never imagined, like, having a fiance. Like, I kind of, like, said goodbye to that kind of idea a while ago. I'm like, I'm just not good in the whole, like, girlfriend thing. I'm just going to, like, build motorcycles, play guitar, and whatever.
Do whatever the fuck I want.
Exactly. And she came around and things changed. And I'm not going to say it's, like, always easy. Nothing's ever easy in life that's good. But, I mean, things have just kind of like, I don't want to say come full circle because I don't exactly understand what full circle means, but it's just kind of changed. And it's kind of cool, like a different outlook and a different way of like thinking about stuff, and it's definitely weird not to like think just about myself and what I want to do for the day or whatever. So
now you got to think about the fiance. She's got a kid. So now your stepdad, you got to think about him. Right. You're going to have your own kid too. So boy or girl?
It's going to be a boy.
Okay. So I ran into your mom, your sister, and your niece. I think it was last week. Yeah. And I was talking to your mom about it. I asked her how like if she was happy and whatnot. And of course, you knew she was happy. Right. She's going to be grandma. But the one thing she said that kind of like made me laugh was, I never expected Pat to have kids.
No. And honestly, it's one of those things. And after my dad passed away, it was one of those things where I kind of felt like I'd never get that opportunity. Like I always wanted it, but I always felt like I would never get that opportunity. Like it's gone. I'm too old now, and I really said goodbye to like a normal type of life. I'm like, whatever, it's gone. Fuck it. And we got pleasantly surprised, I guess you could say. And there's a whole lot of things that come with that too. Cause I'm like, am I 37? Am I 38? I don't remember. I'm one of those. But
the only reason why I remember your birthday, not your birthday, but the only reason why I remember how old you are is because I believe it's March, right? That's your birthday?
Yeah.
So you turn the year ahead of me in March.
Right.
So in September, I'll be 38. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to be 38, he's going to, whatever. Uh, so life's happy now. Everything's going good. You got engaged.
Yep.
Your mom seems happy. She sounded like she loves this, loves your fiance. I've met Kelly once, right? I think it was just once. I think it was at the gathering for your father's passing.
Yeah.
So she seems really nice.
Mm-hmm. Listen, man, she's a female. She's got a good side, she's got a bad side, and then she's got the side I get on a somewhat normal basis. So it's kind of like that.
The wifey side, like you do what I say, or
yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's
just so you know, Kelly might actually watch this. So
I try to be as honest as possible with her, and she knows she's difficult. I know that I'm a moron sometimes, so it's kind of like we know these things. But I mean, she puts up with me, which is difficult to do because I'm opinionated.
Hell, dude, I've known you since 2003, 2004.
I know,
and like we've gone through our ups and downs. Like fuck you, no fuck you. Oh, I love you.
So we'll put it this way: she's really good at the loving part after the whole fu shit. So,
well, we tend to have some anger issues, and that's what the music was really for.
Yeah.
And being in Kill Your Demons, even The Dark Tomorrow, and going to our most recent band, Bound By Betrayal, like everything that I did musically with you was. It wasn't just fun, but it was entertaining. Not entertaining as in like left hand backwards type entertaining, dressing up and acting like assholes on stages. It was just like we made good music.
Yeah,
we got our angst out. We did what we had to do.
Yeah,
and I remember the first show that I played with you. It was at the Corner Pocket. In Orange, Connecticut.
Yeah.
We played a show and I barely knew the songs and I was fucking up left and right. But nobody gave a fuck. The only people that knew were the people in the bands. Nobody else, like no one in the band, the crowd or whatever, knew. And you went ahead and you started like shredding like a motherfucker. And I just started turning my stuff off because we were done. And dude, oh my God, did I don't know what the fuck I did to piss you off, but you fucking ripped into don't you ever start taking your stuff off. I was like, I was done. What the fuck do you want me to do? And that happened a couple times. I think it happened maybe 2 times, and then I was just like, you know what? I'm just not gonna do this until he's done.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit like me and my my ego trip when I was younger.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask a few questions about like music and what got you into it. So let's just shoot right there. I know Ice Earth was one of the big bands that got you like into like listening to metal, or are one of the bands that you like the most. Then Overkill. So what other bands out there gave you inspiration to start playing music?
Listen, I'm going to go right to like the beginning, and this is the dumbest thing I'm probably ever going to tell you. So I was a huge Monster Truck fan as a kid. I'm still a huge Monster Truck fan.
Right.
And in one of the videos, they have Sergeant Slaughter in the back of like a Monster Truck, like playing this really cool looking Budweiser guitar. And it was cool because he was like, fucking cat, get out of here, fucker. He was just obviously not playing, but he was like shredding on this guitar in this big jacked up truck, and there was a bunch of like half naked women like around, and I'm like, I want to do that. And it was just like that. And like that was like my first like memory of like music getting in me. And I had a babysitter that used to listen to like Headbangers Ball and all that cool shit, like the original stuff.
Right.
And that got me into it too. And I always thought it was fucking wicked cool, like, and I wanted to play guitar, and my dad brought me to this little music store called the Music Barn in East Windsor, and he bought me my first guitar, which is like this weird like Strat, Sunburst type of thing. And that was like my first like into music. And I didn't even like distortion at first. I didn't like crunch. I just like, I put the distortion channel on. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this? This sucks.
What?
Seriously. I'm like, why does this sound so weird? And then like, you know, that was like when I was like maybe 9, I think 9 or 10. And then I got into like middle school, I think. I'm just trying to like go through all this shit in my head.
Yeah.
In the middle school, and then I met this guy, which was like my high school buddy all the way through, named Chad, and he introduced me to like Nirvana and like Metallica and stuff.
And
like
I can't see you listening to fucking Nirvana.
I hate Nirvana. I hated Nirvana then. I could never get into it, but like Metallica, I was like getting into it. It was just when like the Load album came out, and I'm like, these guys are pretty cool. And I went back, and I'm like, and I think the next album I got was like Master of Puppets. And after that, it was Ride the Lightning. And after that, it was like, this is what I like. This is what I want. And just started getting into those bands, and Metallica, obviously, Megadeth. Just kind of like going through like a lot of the 80s stuff, because that was like, I could find. And then I found Overkill, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys are just like angry and fast and pissed off. And it just kind of was like a progression of like bands that I fell in love with. And I think one of the reasons why Overkill was one of my favorite bands is because I was 17 at the time, and I went down to Toad's place with a girlfriend of mine, and we went down there, and it was a 21 and up show, and I'm like, I can't get in. And Bobby Blitz was outside, like, and I was talking like, dude, you're Bobby Blitz. I was like this fucking I was like, whoa, this is fucking crazy and cool and all this other stuff. And I met Fat Tony down there too, because he was playing a band down there. And I was all crushed because I couldn't get in. And Tony was like, just go in. And I'm like, what do you mean? Just go in. And he pushed me and my girlfriend at the time into the door. And we were like, they're like roadie lackeys for the night. And it kind of like opened my eyes about a lot of things with music at that point in time, which was like, we were a family for the most part. Like, you wanted to get into a show, this guy was going to pull some strings, get you into the show, even though, you know, you definitely weren't of age. And that was the way it was. And that was cool. And that was like my start into music and like wanting to play more and everything else like that.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met Tony, and it was kind of similar to that. You know, he got me into a bunch of shows at the Webster and whatnot. So I'll never, you know, talk bad about him from that point, as a person who got me into the metal scene.
Yeah.
What was now? I ended up looking up this video of Sergeant Slaughter with the Dames. That's actually what it says. It says Sergeant Slaughter rocks out with dames and monster trucks. What the fuck kind of guitar is that?
I don't know. I actually looked up a few, and it might be a Dean, believe it or not.
That thing looks so it looks like a fucked up coffin.
Yes. I mean, but that was the Budweiser logo. So.
You know what? It is the Budweiser logo.
It was the Budweiser bow tie. And I just thought it was so cool. And even to this day, I really want one still. Just so that I'm like, this is cool.
I don't know if I'd be able to fucking play something like that. That thing looks so fucking hideous.
Dude, I would rock it. Dude, I rocked a pink guitar like years ago. I had a pink Ibanez that I despised because I'm colorblind and I thought it was purple. So I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And it was fucking like puss bag pink. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, puss bag pink, and then you thought it was fucking purple.
Yeah.
Whatever. So what inspired you? So you got inspired by like your buddy Chad. Is this Velez?
No, this is a guy named Chad Pelletier.
Okay. I know that you and Velez went to school too.
I didn't get along with him too well because he was just a fucking weird dude.
He still is.
Yeah. So, but it's like me and this buddy Chad, we grew up together. We had like in our band, my buddy Josh Teague was in the band, and we were just like, this is what we would do. They would come in over my house like on a weekend, and we would all get in my back room at my mom's house, and we'd all jam out, and then we'd have a sleepover. And we would raid my dad's train because he had a Jack Daniels train or a Jim Beam train in the back. We'd raid that thing, get hammered, walk around the neighborhood at like fucking 1 a.m. and like just being stupid. And that's what we actually would do.
We did that when we were living together. We used to fucking get super fucking stoned.
Yeah.
Not you,
No.
but like Ryan and myself would get really fucking stoned. We'd fucking get drunk and just play 2 o'clock in the morning. Who fucking cared, you know? Those times were fucking like awesome. I was just talking about that with somebody, how we lived together, like us living together, being in a band together probably wasn't the best idea because of the fact that we were together like so much.
Right.
But it also kind of like it prepared us, say, if we were to go on tour, like we knew, you know. So your first band was A Dark Tomorrow?
My first real band playing around. We gotta have to move. Get upstairs. My first band playing out was Dark Tomorrow. The band Necropolis had a few shows beforehand, but it was not. It was like high school shows, you know. So it wasn't like a big, huge thing. It was just like I think we played like 2 or 3 shows. We rented out a hall and we would like play, and that was it. And I think we had Velez's band on a few times with us, but it was like nothing. It was nothing big. It was just like a bunch of like high school dudes like fucking geeking around. I think we did like a talent show too once, and that was it. But A Dark Tomorrow was like, sorry, was it Fallout? It was
Fallout, A Dark Tomorrow, whatever.
That was like the first band I was like in that like played shows and like really tried to like write music, and tried to get somewhere with it, you know, for the most part. I mean, there was some kind of like shady shit that was going down, and we never like recorded. We really never recorded. It was just a fucking fuck fest when it came into the whole get out and play. I just want to have fun. Get out and play. And I was like, yeah, this is fun, but now we have nothing to show for except for maybe a few t-shirts, and that was it.
Yeah, I remember like one of the first things that we talked about when we were in Your Demons is that, you know, we'll play a show, but we need to go record something, even if it's like a 2 to 4 song demo or something, right. Which is what we ended up doing. And, you know, what was it? We had Crush Your Enemies, Evil Stitch to Evil.
Right.
Secondary Thoughts.
Yeah. And then there's that Diary one. I don't know, it wasn't Diary. It was
Excerpt from Hell.
Excerpt from Hell. Yeah, that was it.
Which was my personal favorite.
It was good. I enjoyed that. I mean, I enjoyed that one, and I enjoyed Evil, obviously, because I like that big orchestrated stuff.
Right. That was a cool song. It was cool because the reason why I like that song so much, and the fucked up thing is like neither you or myself. I don't know if you do, but I know I don't have a recording of that anymore.
I don't have anything anymore.
I think the only person who actually has it is Ryan.
I knew one of my exes had one. But I mean,
yeah, that's fucking gone now.
Yeah, it's gone. That's been long gone. But it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, you have a bunch of them laying around, and then all of a sudden you have none laying around. So it's kind of like, bummer.
Yeah, I had it posted up on MySpace. MySpace ended up having that thing not too long ago where all the music was deleted or whatever. And then there was another site that I'd put it on. It's something similar to like Bandcamp, and I can't find it. So it's adios.
Right.
It sucks because I remember I was actually just talking to Eric Valad of She Walks Without Legs about this. With the fact that like I wrote that song, I wrote like most of that riff for that. The dun, 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 dun.
I'm doing a radio thing with him. I'm not okay. Everyone, this is my fiance. She's not.
Hi, Kelly. I'm going. That's hilarious. Have a good one, Kelly. Nice seeing you. But no, it was. I was telling Eric Valad, I was like, it's cool when you write a riff and like then you hear it recorded. And then I also told him, I was like, how cool your demons ended up starting. You remember how I found Ryan, right?
Yeah, at Ozfest, didn't you? Was it an Ozfest or something like that, or a Mayhem Fest?
So it was Ozfest, and what it was is I sat outside of Ozfest handing out like thousands of flyers, and your ass wasn't anywhere to be found. But I'm sitting here handing these fucking flyers out left and fucking right, and then I go home. I ended up actually getting kicked out of Ozfest for it, and granted, it was like the last song of the night or some shit like that. But I handed it out to all these fucking people. And remember how many people got in contact with me?
Yeah.
How many? One. And it was Sarah. Sarah contacted me and she was like, "Oh, my boyfriend plays drums and he might be interested." I was like, "Well, why didn't your boyfriend, fucking, I guess Ryan was fucking trash that day." But I remember going down there and jamming with him for a little bit and seeing that bright green drum set and whatnot. And
the drum set.
Yeah, and sitting there asking him, I was like, "Hey, can you play Blast Beat?" And he's like, "No, I don't know what that is." And then he started playing "People Equal Shit" by Slipknot, and I was like, "That's a Blast Beat." He was like, "Oh, I didn't know."
I'm doing a radio interview with my buddy Brad. This is me.
Podcast. Hey, what's going on, bro?
He brings me coffee. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, what was that? It sounded like a cat toy.
That is Chase. I'm not going to put that was Chase playing with his broccoli.
Is that a dog?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you being all family oriented and everything now.
Dude, it's so weird because it's like, all right, so we're doing this like radio interview and we're talking about this stuff and I'm having like flashbacks.
It's not a radio, it's a podcast.
I apologize, right? We're doing a podcast. So, but it's weird. I'm like reliving some of this stuff and like remembering some of this stuff. And then, my stepson comes over. He's like, "Hey, how are you? Here's coffee." And I'm like, "Yes." And then the dog, and then I'm like, it's funny.
Why don't you tell everybody what kind of coffee you drink?
Let's see. Hold on. Let's look at this. This is a toasted coconut swirl. It's fucking. I don't care.
What kind of coffee did you drink? Were you drinking when we recorded the Bound By Betrayal CD?
Pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin fucking spice.
Listen, I'm all right. Whatever you want to say, like vanilla.
You're a basic bitch. That's what you are.
All right. I hate pumpkin and anything else. Pumpkin spice coffee, dude. Oh my god, it's like amazing. I don't even want to get into it, man. It gives me a chubby just thinking about it. But it's just,
boy.
I don't care. And then the funny thing is, because we're recording, and we're getting ready to record. And I think Dustin goes out to get coffee,
and Simon wanted one.
Yeah, Simon was like, "Dude, this is delicious." He's like, "I feel so basic," and I'm like, "Well, you kind of are. You're like in your Birkenstocks, fucking long hair hippie dude, like drinking fucking pumpkin spice iced coffee. So yeah, you're kind of basic, dude. But
good guy.
It's we'll go to that stuff in a little bit. Record, which was cool. Like, so all right. So Ryan is an amazing drummer. Is.
He's not even just an amazing drummer. He was an awesome person.
Dude, he was fun to be around.
Right.
I think that's the thing you need with bands. You need to have people that are fun to be around. And if I go like through the flashbacks of like all the bands I've been in, the ones that you had at least one person that wasn't fun to hang around with, that band was doomed. Absolutely doomed. Which goes into other bands later on in my musical career, if you will. But
yeah, everybody ends up having problems with certain members. I butted heads when we were in Kill Your Demons. Right. We definitely butted heads in A Dark Tomorrow. We definitely, we've reconciled there. Ryan and myself definitely butted heads in the band and outside of the band.
Yeah.
I think it was more so along the lines that I was trying to become more of an adult thing.
Right.
And I was like put with a lot of pressure. Like I was basically the manager. I was the person who went ahead and I book the shows. I contacted the people I contacted the kid to record us. You know, everybody had to do this at the same time. I had Justin, our bassist. He came in, and then like he couldn't stand playing with Ryan because Ryan would play differently every single time, and it was because Ryan was getting back into it after not doing it for so long.
Right.
And I don't know if Ryan is ever going to watch this. I don't know if he's ever going to listen to this. But holy fuck, bro, if you do, please fucking contact us. Like, it doesn't even have to be about music, dude. We just want to hear from you. Make sure you're alive. So
he's the one person out of like all the bands I've been in that has just like MIA disappeared. And also I think the singer of that band, Tony, went MIA disappeared too.
I ended up running into him on, I want to say it was Craigslist.
Okay.
A few years back. I think he was selling a guitar, and I think it was a 7-string, and I was looking for a 7-string, and he was selling a Viper 7-string, and I asked him, I was like, is this Tony Russo from Middletown? And he just blacklisted me.
Oof.
So, I mean, I don't know what the fuck I did to that kid, but no sweat off my balls.
I think it's funny sometimes. I think even to the extent of with Ryan, it's kind of like you. I don't think there was any bad blood between the four of us. I mean, because I went on afterwards with Ryan in a different band, and everything was fine in that too until he went and joined another band, and then Dead to Rise went south after that.
Right.
So
I remember after a while, I just started talking to Ryan. You and I started talking again.
Right.
And then we decided, hey, why don't we try and start, Kill Your Demons back up.
Right.
And then we had Fat Tony, who was going to come in. He was going to play bass for us.
Right.
And then we had this dickbag vocalist who we were going to have do vocals.
Yeah.
The persons whose name shall be not said.
And that shall not be said.
Yeah, right. The name. We'll mention this person, but we're not saying that person's name. Right. And then like shit went south there, like real quick. Like I ended up in the hospital for a week, and instead of going to see my girlfriend at the time, as soon as I got out of the hospital, I went straight to band practice, and you fucking assholes weren't there. And then you fucking showed up, and then you're all like, yeah, whatever. And then everybody just fucking left. I'm like, did I literally just come here for no fucking reason?
I don't remember like all the stuff that went down. I do know that it was not like great for you and my relationship. I know that.
Something happened to pull because when I lived with you, it was at your grandfather's house, right. And I was paying you to your mom rent to be there.
Yeah.
And this is a reason why you don't live with friends, people. And when you kicked me out, I didn't pay that rent that I was supposed to pay. And I was like, fuck that. And I left. I took everything with me. And then you fucking, the second time I came back, you were like, fuck, we were still good. And then you were just like, nah, fuck you, dude. You give me the money or you don't get your cab back. And I'm like, well, fuck you, dude. Like, I paid $400 fucking bucks for that goddamn cab. And then come to find out, like, I like a bitch fucking called the cops and then fucking went back to the house to get my cab. And I'm like, I fucking beat him. And then come to find out, this motherfucker's like, thanks for the speakers, you fucking cocksucker. So you took my fucking green Celestians out and the greenbacks out, and you put him in a fucking shitty cab. Dude, I was like shaking that fucking night when I found out about that. I was like, this motherfucker.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I still have that cab with your speakers in it.
It doesn't make me feel better. It's not my Marshall.
You know what? All right, so I don't want to change the subject, but you know how hard it is to actually find like good Marshalls now. Like I swear
Yes. The only reason why I bought that Marshall was because you were like dead set, like we need to get the exact same setup and blah 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 blah. And I had the straight cab, and I had a straight cab and a slant cab,
right,
and we both had a full stack,
right,
and yours was two tilted cabs.
right.
And you always were pissed off at me because I had that straight cab,
Right.
so that because you weren't able to put that other cab on top of it
Right.
the right way. And I bought that specifically because like you told me to.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And I loved it ever since. Hey, kitty.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, it scared the shit out of you, huh?
I mean, I think she was doing something. Then she's like, "I'm here. Pay attention."
Yeah, pay attention to me. That's what cats do until they don't want your attention. So I bought that, and then we played our first show. Do you remember our first show in Kill Your Demons?
Yeah, we opened up for Wasp, didn't we?
Yep, we opened up for Wasp. We were in the underground, and we were the main act on the underground, which it was our first show. Yeah. And I remembered, like, we start bringing our shit up there. We got 2 guitarists, a drummer, and a vocalist. No basses.
Right.
And like a shit ton of people just showed up.
Right.
Like not people we knew, just a shit ton of people just showed up. There was easily like 200 people in that fucking place. And anybody who's watching or listening to this, 200 people at the Webster Underground was a lot of people.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Right. And especially if it's you know, like a band who's playing their first show. So I think we actually ended up having more people paying attention to our set than people paying attention to Wasp, because I don't know about you, but I believe I ended up leaving right after our set because I was like, yo, fuck Wasp.
I think I stuck around. The thing is, I like 1 or 2 songs from Wasp.
Fuck Like a Beast.
Well, I mean, there's a few I do like. But I think I was hammered, to be honest with you. That was like my thing.
You hammered at a show?
Yeah.
No.
But it makes me laugh because I always think about like the amount of like amps that I would personally try to bring at a show, and everyone would be like, "Oh, blah blah blah, you don't need this much, you don't need that much," and it's like my mentality was like I played so many shows where you couldn't hear yourself because the monitors were shitty, or the vocalist was so goddamn loud, or whatever the hell it was, that I'm like, I don't need anything except the drums and me. That's all I need. And I'll know exactly what's going on. And so that's the reason why I started doing the 2 cab thing, because I could hear myself out of the top cab. And it wasn't like always stupid loud. I could like set it to whatever. I wasn't trying
Bullshit, it wasn't always stupid loud. I've been in a few bands with you, dude.
Listen, it's a metal show. All right. If I get told by the sound guy or by people in the front that is too loud, then you should probably go to a different show or you need better equipment. It's a metal show. I'm there because it's supposed to be loud. It's supposed to be in your face. It's metal. It's supposed to hurt. You know, you're in the pit. Shut up. Stop whining. Get in the pit. Listen to metal band. That's it. You know?
All right, Kerry King.
It's always been my mentality. And like, I think growing up, some of the shows I went to the Webster for, because the Webster was a huge fucking place that was really instrumental in me wanting to play guitar and like what kind of guitar player I want to be.
Be a musician.
Yeah, be a musician. And like one of the loudest bands I ever saw there was actually Rob Halford. And he was there with his bands, and he had Pat Lackman on guitar, and he had Metal Mike on guitar. And it was the loudest show I've ever seen, louder than Motorhead. And I saw Motorhead there too, and that was insane. But it was louder than Motorhead, but it was perfect, beautiful, good. I mean, you could hear everything. Good guitar tone on both sides. And I'm like, I try to like suck in some of this stuff. Like I'm not like the greatest guitar fucking player in the world. I'm not. I won't claim I am. I won't claim I'm anything perfect or famous or great or anything like that, but I know what good guitar tone is.
Well, Jesus Christ, man, you've grown up a lot. Because I remember you back years ago, I'm the best guitarist ever.
I think it's the more I've seen like egotistical people in like music, the more I got turned off by being an asshole. You know, and I've dealt with egomaniacs a lot, and all it equals in when you get into that is it equals band breaks up, or egotistical guy never gets anywhere, or egotistical asshole gets fucking rich and famous like N.V. Malmsteen. But the thing is, you have to actually have like real talent to get to N.V. Malmsteen's stage and be able to be asshole. If you have no actual talent, if you are a bitching, whining bitch, yes, I said bitching, whining bitch, and you point the finger at everybody else as being the problem, you will never get anywhere. And that's it. And that's what I've had to deal with over the years in certain bands. So bands are bands. They're people to get together because they love playing the music they play. They want to write together. As soon as it becomes singularly about one person, it's not a band anymore. And that's when everything falls apart. So
Touche. You know, I'll say it at most. You know, we've both been in a band with people that have egotistical, and we knew it wasn't going to end up working out in the first place, anyways. But so let's get back to the music, and I want to ask you, all the shows that you've played.
Yeah,
you've played, you know, all over Connecticut. I know you've played in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
I've played a show with you in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
I don't know where else you have played. Where we actually played a show in Milwaukee, of all places. What a fest that was. McCab. Out of all the shows you have played, what is the best memory you have as a musician?
This is gonna go. I like to split this in half, kind of, sort of. So when we were in Milwaukee, it was sponsored by Vader Cabinets, and I remember like
I know where this is going.
Yeah, I've always said that to me, a successful, amazing metal show is a wall of Marshalls or wall of guitar cabinets, whatever it is, the band playing in front of it, the drummer in the middle on a stand. To me, that's metal. To me, that's real music. I don't want to see some fucking dude dancing in a ballerina suit over there, or like playing through like PA speakers or whatever. I want to actually hear like the guitar tone, and I don't care what anybody says. Like I want to, like Slayer did it forever. I want to hear the guitar tone out of the amp. I want to hear that. And to me, if you mix that all in with PA speakers and everything else like that, and drums and vocals, it doesn't sound as pure to me. And I understand that, you listen to an album or whatever, you're still listening to everything all together. But in the live experience, I want to be able to hear the specific guitar notes, guitar tones that I want to hear. And it's just a dream, like Metallica, fucking row of Marshalls, row of Mesas, whatever the hell it is. So when we played that show, I'm like in awe, and I'm like, dude, this is almost like making it. This is like my dream show with like cabinets everywhere. And I think it was like 2 or 3 full stacks on either side, and the same when it came to like, and I think there was like 1 or 2 full stacks of bass amps on either side too. And I'm like, dude, we finally made it. Like, dude, this is it. Like,
it was a shit show, but it was cool as fuck to be like, all right, you plug your head in here, you plug your head in there, and then you play. And it was like, whoa, that's fucking loud. That's awesome.
Right. And that was the thing. It was like, and I had that. That was the show, the show before the Mesa fucking went and blew up. This is the only time the Mesa let me down. So we went out there with this PV head. What the fuck was it? A PV Supreme or something like that. It was a 3-channel tube amp, and it was like old. And it was right when like the first 5150s came out, and it was a cool sounding amp, but it was so like bass heavy, and I couldn't get a good actual like crunched tone out of it. And I tried, and I couldn't get it. And I wasn't in the pedals, never in the pedals, so that hurt it too. I know now if I put a pedal on and just scaled it back a little bit, things would have been night and day. So that was the only thing, but it was still like we went out there and like played, and it was still like fun. So that was like the moment where it's like, all right, dream number one is done with like the amplifiers everywhere. Cool.
Right.
The second one was in We Are Nothing, and we were playing to get on not a Mayhem Fest, but like one of their like Halloween fucking things at the Palladium. It was like some festival they did at the Palladium.
Rock and Shock.
It was Rock and Shock. So we played this thing. It was a battle of the bands. As lame as that sounds, we played a battle of the bands, and it was like the second to last one where you could like either go on and play this fucking Rock and Shock, or you didn't get shit. So it was the whole thing was all stacked. It was like, I'm like, holy fuck, this is going to be really tough. So, but we got done with our last song, and they did like the whole like applause meter, which was total horseshit. And it was like the first time in my life, because We Are Nothing was getting big. It was like we were getting noticed.
Right.
We had a demo that was going out. We had shirts. We were like selling out of shirts, selling out of demos. Had shows out the wazoo, which turned out to be not a good thing later on. But we had all this stuff going on. So we played this, and it was almost the first time I was ever like knocked off the stage before with how loud the crowd was like yelling for us. Like
Awesome.
I still to this day, I remember like my eyes like shooting up going, what the fuck? And it was like the people cheering for us, and it was cool. So those are like my two favorite shows. It was like, it made you feel good. Like two of my dreams were like, oh shit, dude, wow, these people really like us. This is awesome. And hanging out and like talking and buying beers and shit. And then the other one was like, I feel like Malmsteen and Metallica now, like hanging out in front of these big amplifiers. I'm going to go hump this one over in the corner because it's beautiful and I love it. So
I have to say Milwaukee was an experience. The strip club we ended up going to, the detective that ended up showing us where was it Dahmer. He showed us where Dahmer's house was.
Right.
That was cool. The fact that I got to see, I'm gonna never live this down, but I got to see Macabre.
Yeah.
Which was something I had wanted to see. I was supposed to see in Connecticut, but I ended up in Milwaukee watching them and playing the same fucking show.
Right.
As cool as it was, driving out there, as cool as it was the fact that like we could sit here and say we played the Milwaukee Metal Fest. Yeah. That was a complete fuck fest. It was that entire, driving there, the hotel, fight with Randy.
Right.
I have nothing against Randy now,
right.
But I'm saying like, all that, it was just a total fuck fest. And when we got home, we ended up firing Randy.
Right.
And this was in the Dark Tomorrow.
Right.
And that show was basically our downfall for that band.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of like, I will say that with the Dark Tomorrow and the band Fallout, which turned into a Dark Tomorrow, they were fun bands. And I don't want to sound like an asshole to the members of the band, but you know what? There was a lot of times when we weren't that good, that some of our stuff was like a little mediocre, and the planning behind it was just ass backwards. And I get it. It's not easy to like manage a band. It's not easy to do all these things and try to whatever. I get it, and I think in my own personal aspect, I was just too immature at the point in time because I wanted three things. I wanted to play guitar. I wanted to get drunk. I wanted to get laid. And that was it. And I wanted to work on my car at the point in time because I was like, into that. So those are like the three things I cared about, or four, whatever the fuck it is. So that was it. I didn't have the maturity to go, okay, hold on, let's scale the crazy partying back a little bit and actually put like some thought into this and do better management. And I think after the Milwaukee show, we all kind of like at least I know I didn't, I know you did. We took a step back and go, dude, listen, we can't keep doing this shit because we're not planning anything out and we're losing our ass and we're still not on a record yet. And I think that hit home. And I think the direction of that band just kept going in a more uncontrollable area. And I think I was really woken up at the Milwaukee show because the amount of money I spent alone was insane. So it was like, yes, it was fun, but it was not responsible whatsoever. None of it was responsible. So, well,
definitely wasn't responsible. You spent most of the money. I ended up getting the hotel for I think it was the 2 nights.
Right.
But it just seemed like nobody really gave a fuck, I guess you could say.
No, I mean, listen, I don't want to sound like an asshole to anybody that was in the band at the point in time, but I do know that, like, listen, the 3 things I wanted to do, that was on my mind. That's all I gave a fuck about, you know? And I know on your mind, you were, you wanted to experience life a little bit because, we're in Milwaukee. I'm going to do this. I want to play music. I hang out with my buddies and that's it. Then we had other people that was like, I just want, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but I just want to get drunk. I want to be retarded and I don't give a fuck. So
it's basically what it was. It's like the only thing I really remember about that was we went to, the strip club.
Right.
And I remember the girl with the piercing. And you disappeared for like 45 minutes. But I mean, all in all, it was an experience. I wish it would have turned out better. It could have turned out better.
Right.
It's odd that that was the one show we played like out of state while I was in the band. People ask me, they're like, "Oh, what's the furthest you've been out west?" And I'm like, "Wisconsin." They're like, "Well, what the fuck was out in Wisconsin?"
Right.
Like, well, my band at the time, we were offered a show to play out there. They were like, "Wisconsin?" And I was like, "Yeah." Did you play anywhere else in between? We're like, "No." No, we went from Connecticut to fucking Milwaukee, and that was it.
And you really get into it, the whole background of it. It was like, dude, this is poor planning. This is like a bunch of morons in a shitty Durango in a U-Haul trailer go all the way out there. Like, it was like the most dumbest thing in the world. I'm pretty sure
it was pretty fucking dumb.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dimebag Darrell was like sitting there looking down at us, shaking his head, laughing and feeling bad for us all at the same time, going, "You fucking stupid morons. What the fuck are you doing? Jesus Christ." And
I have to say, though, the best part of that entire trip had nothing to do with driving there, had nothing to do with playing the show, had nothing to do with the hotel. It had to do with going home. And so I'm just going to tell the story, and you're going to know where I'm going with this. So on the way there, one thing that I did do that I thought was fucking hilarious, we were going through Ohio. I stuck my bare ass, out the window, and I mooned the entire the plank at this train station. I was just like, showing my ass. On the way home, which was probably the best part, I ended up finding this band, Lividity. I found their CD at a distributor at the show. And there was a song called Pussy Lover. And we were going through a toll, and all of a sudden there's this older, black lady there. And I'm driving through and I'm looking at her and I'm asking her how much it's going to be. And all of a sudden, the next thing that comes on is Cheech Marion go, "Come on in, pussy lovers." And I just like, "Can I have a cheese, please?" And then all of us, the fucking truck just fucking started cracking up. There was just so much tension between everybody that right there was what loosened everybody up. So we've heard a lot about we heard about the bands you played in, what bands you liked, your family oriented stuff. Let's get into places that you have played. So you're from Connecticut.
Yes.
You've been in nothing but Connecticut based bands.
Right.
Out of all the bands you've been in and all the shows that you have played throughout New England, I'm going to say, because Milwaukee really doesn't count.
Right.
What was your favorite show and what was your favorite venue?
Oh, goodness. I don't know if I can give you like an honest answer to that. The Webster Underground shows were always good shows. Like I remember there's one specific show I didn't like, but for the most part, like most of the Webster Underground shows were always really good. I almost forgot about Cherry Street. A lot of Cherry Street shows were really good. I don't know if I can. All right, so I'm going to give you like one of mine. So
I think the only problem with Cherry Street, and if Sarah, Dennis, you end up seeing this, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Cherry Street. I think the biggest problem with Cherry Street is the fact that bands play there way too often. So like you'll have, say, like Bound by Betrayal would be playing this weekend, and then like 3 weeks later they'll be playing there again with another band.
right.
So I think that was the biggest big. I remember we played Cherry Street in A Dark Tomorrow before they ended up putting the stage there.
Mm-hmm. I remember that too. I remember that.
So I mean, what about Max Cap?
I think the place is okay because we played downstairs. I played downstairs and I played upstairs one time.
And we played both.
We did. Oh, same.
Yeah,
right.
we played upstairs in Where We Once Stood, and then we played downstairs in Bound by Betrayal.
I think it's a cool place. I think in general, and this is me in general, I think the music community in general has kind of like, I mean, especially now, but like even then, it was getting boring and oversaturated, and it lost some of the excitement in the push, and I don't exactly know the reasoning for that. I mean, I don't know. Like, I understand that music is art and art is subjective, but it's almost like sometimes it's like, I get it. All right. You guys want to play, but you guys fucking suck. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but it's like, dude. So you have like, the night is going on a full rhythm. It's going awesome. Okay. We have two bands that were on. All right. And they were both awesome. And the rhythm's going and everyone's pumped. They're ready to go. And then you have another band that jumps up and it kills everything. And it's like, okay, we don't want to be in here anymore. So everybody like goes in outside, smokes a cigarette, has a drink. And those people don't come back in sometimes. You know, they stay out because it's like, hey, it's nice out here. Let's just stay out here for a little bit. Whatever. So it's like, I don't know what the thing is. I don't know. There's no real answer to it because I'm not going to sit there and say that band sucks over there when somebody else is like, I love those guys. You know, so it's one of those things.
Yeah, there's always that opinion that's, right. Such a band is going to suck, and the other band, okay, they're good, but like they were off today or something. Right. But it's usually like, oh man, it sounded great today. Right. I've always hated that. It's like, I know I sounded like shit, so why don't you just give me the truth?
Right. But I think it's also like how you organize shows too, right? So
how about that show down in where was it, Naugatuck? The one where I almost got into a fist fight.
Oh. What the hell was was that what the fuck was that show? Wasn't that a toy drive or something stupid like that? No, that wasn't a toy drive. Was it a toy drive?
No, that was at what's the name of that bar? What's the name of the bar down in Naugatuck? Right off of 9.
I totally. Oh, dude. The thing is, I remember the stage. I remember everything about it. It's right down the street from here, but I don't remember what the hell it is. I don't.
Fuck, I'm drawing a fucking blank, and I don't know why. Like, I've been there so many times.
Right. Well, there's smokestacks on either side of the stage. You know, it's like I can even see like they had like a thing like that for like. I know the guy's name was Mark that owned the place. I think. All right. So, anyways, going on, but the place was cool. But the real big thing is trying to get people to come out to shows, and it's like, and I think it's oversaturation of certain bands that play certain places every week. And once again, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but
Cooks.
Cooks, thank you. But in not trying to be an asshole, I think it's really there for a while. There's an oversaturation of bands playing every week, and every week, and every week, and people didn't want to come out. I know in the fuck was it? In We Are Nothing. It was like, and this is the wrong mentality, but we just went along because we didn't have much of a fucking choice, which was we played like every weekend. You know, sometimes we did 2 shows in a weekend. And it was like, dude, nobody wants to see the same band every weekend, you know? And that's the honest thing. I mean, listen, if Metallica was playing Cooks every fucking weekend, I'd probably come down for the first 2 weekends, and then I'd be like, all right, do I really want to hear Master of Puppets again? I mean, obviously, yes, I do, but but it's just one of those things. It loses the flair. So right. And then the thing is like, okay, so you know, we're playing 2 shows this weekend. We're playing here, and then we're playing down the street here. So if people can't see us this night, they can go to this show over here this night and see us. Wrong mentality. Absolutely wrong mentality. And I think that's it. I think you look at these bands that come around, like the Ozfest or the whatever the heck it is, the big shows. When these guys were coming around before COVID, it's like once a year they would come around.
All right.
Maybe twice. Even like something like the bands from like the Webster days. Once, maybe twice a year. Seven Dust would come like once, twice a year. And it's like, oh, dude, let's go see Seven Dust. They're coming around again. All right, sweet, awesome. And it's that. I mean, as a local band, I think you can't oversaturate the area. You know, right. Like, and the thing is, I feel like in a lot of the bands I was in, we did not use multimedia enough. We did not use the internet. We did not use like certain things here and there. And I understand it was like, it's not always easy, and it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes all this other stuff. I understand all that. But it's like, now that's all you got. So if bands that were getting good at that stuff back then, you'd be not made, obviously, but you'd be like still having like some people checking out what you're doing.
Right.
And that.
Exactly.
So I feel that's like something our bands never went and did that we should have done, because the old mentality is not working out. Like the old mentality of like record, play, record, play. It does not work. And this is the reason why
the social media is the new promoting.
Right. And I mean, listen, and this is like another sad fact. We're not going to have any classic rock bands anymore. Like,
no, the classic rock bands are the bands that we grew up on. Like I hear Metallica playing on Rock 102 now.
Right. Well, but the thing is, after this, who are going to be the classic rock bands after this? There's
Limp Bizkit and Korn and Slipknot.
Yeah, but keep going on. But what big band? I know. Oh, there's nothing. There's nothing that's come out. There's no like rock star bands. There's no Ozzies. There's no Metallicas. There's nothing. There's nothing close to like that. There's no White Snakes. There's nothing big. There's no like Bee Gees. There's nothing huge that exploded in like this decade for rock. Nothing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So it's like the whole thing in general is just this big thing of nothingness, and the new school and the old school mentality of doing this and going on tour. It doesn't work. It just does not work anymore. It definitely doesn't work now, but it doesn't work at all anymore. You know, you can't oversaturate playing all the time, all over the place, because no one's going to come out. And for all the morons to sit there and say, oh, I went to every show. No, you didn't. You didn't, because you can't afford to go to every show. And that's the honest truth. You can't afford paying $5 at the door every night, you know, $5 to $10 a beer, depending on what you want to drink. And then everything else after that. It's really hard to afford all that shit all the time. So even in my I'm getting hammered every night phase, I didn't go to shows every night because I couldn't afford it, because I still had regular bills like a regular person. So it's one of those things where I feel like if you want to see a specific band, even local, you're going to like not go every weekend to go and see them. You know, you're not going to go see Johnny's Bar Band because they play there every Saturday. You're not going to do that. You're going to get bored.
Yeah, I got you, dude. So we're actually going to wrap this up. We're almost at the hour mark. So I appreciate having you on. Just stay on. I'm going to end the broadcast in bullshit in the background. To everybody else out there, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to my boy Pat whine and complain about life.
My pussy hurts.
Yeah. All right. Talk to you guys later.